These two graphs are great illustrations of the difference between monopolistic competition and a competitive market. So first, let's focus on the figure on the left, the case of monopolistic competition. Here, just as before, we would expect the monopolist to set quantity where marginal revenue intersects with marginal cost, and the price is dictated by where that quantity intersects with the demand curve. Now, if we believe that this monopolistic market is in equilibrium, then that means there has to be zero economic profit. That is, at this quantity, and therefore the price that is dictated by its intersection with the demand curve, the economic profit of this monopolist must be zero. So price has to be equal to average total cost. And so we would expect then that there is a tangency between the average total cost curve and the point where this quantity intersects with the demand curve. And that's seen here with this intersection between demand and average total cost. Now, the key thing to notice here is that at this quantity, the price is still greater than the marginal cost. It's equal to the average total cost, which means we would not expect any entry or exit from this market. That is, no one's going to try and enter to compete with the monopolist, and the monopolist is not going to shut down in the long run. But the price is still higher than marginal cost. This is in contrast to the figure on the right, which is a competitive market. Now, in a competitive market, as you can recall, demand is completely elastic for the marginal firm. That is, they are a price taker. If they try and charge a price greater than the price dictated by the market, they will sell nothing. And so we would expect then that if this competitive market were in equilibrium, that price would be intersecting, or demand and marginal revenue, which is the price for this competitive firm, is going to equal marginal cost, and that this price is going to be equal to average total cost, because we would expect neither entry nor exit if this market were in equilibrium. That is, firms are not earning economic profits, nor are they earning economic losses. Now notice where this occurs, where price is equal to average total cost, which is equal to marginal cost, is at the point where the average total cost is at its minimum. Because, as we've discussed before, average total cost is minimized where it intersects with marginal cost. Because after it intersects with marginal cost is greater than average total cost, it must be increasing. And before it intersects, average total cost must be decreasing. And so what this means then, if in a competitive market, price is equal to the absolute minimum of the average total cost curve, that the price is going to be lower under a competitive market than it would be in a monopolistic market. And notice also there is no markup. Price is equal to marginal cost, unlike here where price is greater than marginal cost. And finally, the last key difference is that the quantity is greater. The quantity is at the efficient scale, which we would expect to be at a higher quantity than in the monopolistic case, where the efficient scale is not reached. We're at some quantity that is not where the average total cost curve is minimized. And so we could say that this monopolistic competition has excess capacity. We would, in a competitive market, produce more units, or more units could be produced to lower average total costs, but those units will not be produced as long as the monopolist continues to price where marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost with a downward sloping marginal revenue curve. And so with that, you can go back to this slide to continue to remind yourself about the differences between what we would expect in a competitive market, that is, price is equal to marginal cost, markup is zero, the quantity is higher, and the quantity corresponds to the minimum point of the average total cost curve, as compared to monopolistic competition, which is quantity is less than the competitive case, there is a markup, price is greater than marginal cost, and average total, where the quantity the monopolist produces is at a point on the average total cost curve that does not correspond to the minimum of the average total cost curve.